I understand many people are facing challenges as student loan repayment pause are ended. Andy Chang, founder of the Credit Review, said, however, even before somebody's credit score, why are they talking about y'all credit score so much? Isn't it that y'all worry so much about y'all credit score? It's vital to make payments if at all possible to avoid falling into debt distress long term. I don't know what the hell debt distress is, like if that's an actual like technical term. I would say debt distress is redundant. Anyways, missing payments can significantly hurt the borrower's finances by raising the total interest paid and extending the repayment term. Yes, that's one of the reasons you don't want to miss these payments, is because you're going to have more interest racked up, and it's going to take longer for you to pay it off. Or you might be a negative and you may never pay it off. My goodness. If you got private student loans again, all right, just same ad again. My goodness. How much more we got? All right, we almost done. Millions of borrowers have had debt forgiven. All right, nearly half, 48% of borrowers struggling to meet their student debt repayments don't know about the income-driven repayment options, such as saving on a value budget to save plan that could help lower their monthly obligations, the survey says. See, that's the issue. People are not looking, these college-educated people, on how much interest they either have outstanding or is accruing. So even though they go into these income-driven repayment options, yes, now they can, literally afford to make the minimum payment into their budget. But talking about the long term, right? In the short term, they're taking the short fix. But over a long term, not even long term, just the next payment you make, now your minimum payment is not even satisfying the interest that's accruing. And I forget the one plan that is so many different plans out here where if your minimum payment doesn't satisfy the interest that has accrued, then the interest just goes away. So you got a $100 minimum payment, and let's say interest is $150. So make your $100 minimum payment, you satisfy your minimum payment, right? You don't get behind on your payments, but that $50 in interest, just like a normal loan, is still sitting there, and then that compounds the next time that interest gets charged on top of interest, but the wrong way. Negative amortization loan, or negative am loan, as I say. It compounds the wrong way, just like, it compounds in your favor as far as like the stock market, right? Your interest isn't making you interest. However, with that, your principal balance never goes down. You have to satisfy all the interest that accrues and is outstanding. And then anything that you have left over from that payment goes towards the principal. You got to pay down the principal. What is going on with this? People are not paying down the principal with that type of option as far as income driven repayment options. And so your student loan balance is never going to decrease. And I think like after maybe another 10 years or something like that, then they might forgive it. But it's like waiting 10 years is crazy. Just to think that I've been out of college, coming up on 9 years in May. Not high school, but college. Shout out to 93 babies out there. So for me, it was so college high school is coming up on 13 years in June. Like I couldn't imagine. Like if I would have paid off my student loans at the rate as far as making the minimum payments, I believe I was scheduled to pay them off in 2022, and then the other one in 2023 is two technically separate student loans and separate payments. And I paid off all my student loan debt in September 2019. I couldn't imagine, and this is again pre-pandemic. That's why I recommend you to do it as fast as possible. Because who could have ever predicted when I was focused on paying off my debt in late 2017, early 2018, that no one was thinking a pandemic was going to happen? Whatever, y'all. Borrowers grappling with student loan repayment should explore income-driven plans. No, you need to increase your income and aggressively pay off this daggone debt. Loan forgiveness programs, no. And loan consolidation as possible strategies for managing their debt. Some of you might need to do consolidation. It might just make it, just from a tracking standpoint, you might have multiple different payments that you have because you got different loans all over the place, but it can lower your interest rate. Eric, founder and CEO, I believe I'm pronouncing his name right, of Admissions Site, said in the statement, income-driven repayment plans, which align monthly payments with income level, might provide a more feasible payment amount. I digress. As many as 6.9 million borrowers have already enrolled in the SAVE, maybe this is the SAVE plan that I was just talking about, as early as January, with more than 3.5 million receiving at least $130 billion in student loan relief. You know, the crazy thing is I see all this forgiveness that's going on in the hundreds of millions or even $130 billion. All this forgiveness that occurs, and I don't see the total student loan debt going down. Let you know how much interest there is. Just think, if when you see these forgiveness like 130 billion in student loan relief, all these different type of forgiveness things that are hitting certain segments of people who have student loan debt, but the balance is not decreasing overall. It's still sitting at 1.7 trillion. We forgave 130 billion dollars in student loans. That means now it should be 1.6 or 1.5 trillion instead of 1.7 trillion as far as student loan debt. But the interest might be more than what they're forgiving, which I wouldn't be interest on 1.7 trillion dollars. I mean, probably something that's pretty crazy. Starting next month, borrowers with as few as 10 years of payments who initially took out 12,000, so I'm talking about 12,000 or less for college, will have their remaining debt zeroed. Borrowers must be enrolled in the Saving on Valuable Save plan to qualify. Still 10 years to pay off $12,000. Crazy. That's nasty work, as that guy on TikTok from New York is saying. That's nasty work. That is unreal. It is unreal to talk about paying off $12,000 in 10 years. You can't do $1,000 a year? Excuse me, not $1,000 a year. $100 a month? $100 a month put you at $1,200. Okay, that's 10 years right there. So you anything over $100 is too much for you? I'm literally like tired, y'all. Like all that screaming and yelling I did. I think I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm not, but it's like, woo. All right. As we wrap up, borrowers who attended community colleges will be most impacted since these students typically borrow smaller amounts. True and good. The department estimates that the SAVE plan will make 85% of future community college borrowers debt free within 10 years. Crazy. 10 years to forgive $12,000. I'll be damned. You should be able to pay all 12K in a year. Like, unless you got a whole bunch of kids or significant medical situation, or you got so much other debt that is more than this, but $12,000, I mean, there's only 11, quote unquote, more options, 11,000, 10,000, 9,000, all the way down to 1,000. That would be, more of a focus if you do the debt snowball. But $12,000 a year, 2 years max. And I'm just being gracious to, all right, $6,000 a year, $500 a month. I just be gracious with you. Because remember, you already got the payment, the minimum payment, unless you put yourself in a position where you do these income-driven repayment options and you lower your minimum payment, right? And so your minimum payments aren't really that much as far as the snowball that's going towards your debt because your minimum payments are so low. And so since you're struggling living paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to find that wiggle room or that extra money to go towards your debt because you're choosing not to cut other places. And most people, they just need to cut. If you're struggling to afford to pay your private student loans, again, another ad, god dang. That's it, y'all. Excuse me, but that's it, y'all. Locked and loaded again. Some student loan borrowers are boycotting payments, but the risk is high. Survey again by Nora Comer. This is again on Fox Business. All right.